Building Committee to order. We have Priya, Alan, Maria, Sarah, Mac, and Mary in the room. And at this point, I move to enter into executive session to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A6, where the chair declares that discussion in open session would have a detrimental effect on the town's negotiating position. And I'll take a roll call vote. Alan?
Aye.
Priya?
Sundaram, aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
And Brolin, aye. And we'll come back into open session at approximately 7:30, but I don't know for sure.
Mary,
So,
I
yes.
can put people back in the waiting room, or should we leave them on the screen? So
Um,
I want to just make that announcement if I'm going to do that, so they know what's going on.
I don't care.
Is he muting the meeting, the room?
Yes, I
What's his
believe he's muted. Yeah, I know. I know. I hear you. Exactly. Mike, that's the way to be.
Mary, do you want me to send you what I
That might be
from
because
you?
my screen
Would it
went
be
blank.
helpful to have it typed up already?
Hopefully that's,
You
yeah.
don't send it to me if the person for the minutes wants it. I have it. I saved it when I sent you.
Mary, tell me when I muted
You're
Larry.
talking about your comments?
No, the executive session.
And does he know we're back? Does,
I've been doing all the minutes.
That's
I
fine.
didn't know you were.
Well, I just happened to be taking them while we were sitting there.
I've typed up the first two already,
Okay.
so I think I'll just do these.
Just copy and paste it?
Yeah, yeah.
That's fine.
I am ready.
I'm going to admit everybody now?
Everybody's here? Yep.
Okay.
All right. Are we back, or I don't know if he's going to count me.
Well, the meeting, everyone's in the meeting, and it's already up on Zoom.
But can they hear us? Okay, yes, okay. So it is 7:29, well, that's pretty darn good, and we're back in open session. And so I'm going to move us to public input. I'm going to remind everyone that members of the public can give input now or at the end of the meeting, but not both. Sarah, do you want me to go to you first, or do you want to hear other input and then your summary?
We can do public input first.
Okay, okay.
So we have one person online and one person in the room. Where do you want to start?
Okay, let's go in the room first. Becky?
Hi, Mary. Becky Neville, Middle Road. After last week's meeting, I listened to it and I thought about it, and I really hope tonight you vote to take 502 off the table. Listening to Mike talk about the extraordinary expense of putting swing space at the Regency, we won't get the facility we really want if we go to 502 anyways. I just think it's time to start taking things off instead of, maybe there's another good space, but 502 is probably not it. So I hope you take it off tonight.
Thank you.
And then we have
And online,
Diana LaPerry.
Diana?
I don't know if Diana. I unmuted her.
Diana,
She's unmuted.
you should be able to unmute yourself and speak.
No, we can't hear her.
No, she hasn't unmuted.
You look like you're not yet unmuted.
I think,
She is now.
do we need to turn the volume up to the TV?
You
No,
might
but
need-
she's not
Hold on,
unmuted.
she is unmuted. Diana's unmuted at the moment.
But I can
Oh,
see
she
a
is.
red
Okay,
line
good.
through the microphone.
That's us. You're looking
Oh,
at you.
that's us.
I'm
You're
looking
right.
at,
Okay,
okay,
sorry.
Diana is still unmuted, but is,
Okay, give us a minute. Could be our sound in the room. We can't hear you.
Yeah, because she's green, so she's
right.
talking.
So she's talking. So Diana, if you can hear us, just stand by for 1 second.
Can you see if Larry can speak?
Larry, can you speak?
Can you hear me?
I
Yeah,
can
now
hear
we
you.
got you.
Okay. Di-
I can hear Diana.
Okay, so
Okay.
we can hear you. Diana, can you speak?
Yes.
There you
good.
go. We
Gotcha.
got you now.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
good, okay. Good evening, everyone. I wanted to talk to the very point that Becky brought up about the cost estimate, because I looked at the cost estimate, I reviewed the meeting, what Mike had to say about the various costs. And, I'm focusing in on the tents. There's a lot that I could focus in on here, but I heard the word tent kind of thrown around and dismissed summarily. Well, you're not going to get it for $40,000, it's just a tent. Here's the thing. This is a quote from a company called ClearSpan. They make huge, huge tents, ClearSpan fabric structures that are permanent even, that are used for equestrian events. This is not a pop-up tent I'm talking about here. This is a company that is called ClearSpan, and what you are looking at are ClearSpan tents. They make tents for fire departments for even permanent location, for permanent fire departments. And I'm talking about a temporary tent. And let me just tell you here, when I quoted this to you several months ago, it was way back in March, I told you at the time that it was under 40,000 to get a 35 by 65 tent with side walls, 2 roll-up doors, and a pedestrian door. It didn't include electricity, it didn't include the ventilation system, but I added it and I got the number up to $100,000 for those things, which meant that you were $200,000 per tent over. And on this particular estimate, that's $800,000 because you're talking about 4 tents. So far, I have given you the name of a specific company. I have not heard one specific company mentioned. There are all kinds of companies out there. There are all kinds of tents. There are all kinds of metal fabric, clear metal tents that are called ClearSpan as well. I don't know, are we comparing apples to apples or apples to oranges? But the point is, I have not heard any specific details, just a vague, yes, I call companies, as Mike said, yes, from the project manager, yes, another town did it this way. I'm talking about a purchase price here. You're talking about a rental. Now, there could be large differences. I'm not saying this is the be-all and end-all, but I am asking for specifics, facts, because facts matter, particularly when you're doing estimates. So I'm asking Mike, can you give me one name of a company?
I actually don't have my research in front of me. I can provide that stuff at the next meeting.
Okay, and you don't want to email it to me, Mike?
That'd be fine.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, I would like to know specifically what we're talking about here. And
think
just one other specific comment. The select board talked a long time about temporary quarters for the firefighters, and I know you guys consider it, and you talked about various modular units and so forth. I'm going to give you a bit of information that I gleaned. You may know this, you may not. It didn't seem like people did know about it. There's a company out there called Forts, F-O-R-T-S. They're in Florida. They make specifically trailers that are specific for firefighters. They're brought into the wilderness. They're completely outfitted. They are 2, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, whatever you want, kinds of configurations. They have central rooms and kitchens. I'm just saying, it might be something to investigate. I couldn't get a quote for them because they needed some very specific information from a fire chief, so I let it hang there. But I'm telling you, they are in an industry standard. They're advertised in the Firefighters magazine. I've done a lot of research on it. Forts. Please check them out because they may be a very good deal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Diana, if you could just email me the contact information for that company. The chief and I have talked with 3 other companies that do the same thing, and we have one designing that sort of a structure you're talking about, and we're waiting on the pricing for that.
Yeah, I will send it to you because I actually talked to their rep, Mike.
Great.
And
Yeah,
I had
thank
a long conversation, and they have some very, standard custom units that they have on there that, they look very nice. They have central, salons for the firefighters and kitchens and bedrooms, and you can get any kind of configuration you want, and it's all inclusive.
Great.
So
If you
I
could,
will email you the information.
yeah, if you could send me that representative's contact information as well, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. Thank you.
Okay, Mark
All right.
Barbadero,
Mark?
hold on, you should be able to unmute.
Hello, am I up?
Yes.
Okay. So I heard Becky mention that she would like 502 taken off the table, and I disagree with that assumption or assertion by her, but one thing that Becky and I both agree on is that the property at Middle Road, the community gardens, is probably the best site for the fire station. And when I say that, I don't talk about the social impacts or the character of the town or the impact on the neighborhood, but it is definitely the cheapest price. It's going to be the easiest to develop, and it also fits the program better than any other site because it's going to have the best response times around town. You're probably going to be talking about 1,300. That has a response time of 8 minutes from 1,300 to the northeasternmost portion of the town, and I think that's not acceptable if the target number is 4 minutes. It's almost double what the target number. I also think that much was made over the last 2 years, or at least 2 town meetings, about changing the zoning to allow for a fire station in the ag res. And I think it's inappropriate to not consider some sites in the ag res after having lobbied and petitioned and argued for this change. So, I mean, if we drop 502, we're now down to 72. And the argument that we had been making the entire time was it was really all about 72 Stowe Road. And it seems like you're kind of proving that. So I just feel pretty strongly that you don't have to select the community gardens, but I think you do need to study something in the ag res, or else you've just made everybody go through all that heartache for nothing. It is the central point in town in terms of response times. It is the flattest lot. I did the math just recently on upland because I heard members talking about wetlands on the site, which is true. But there is 22 acres of upland on the site that can be developed without a notice of intent to CONSCOM. And that is completely different than what you're going to be going through at 1300 Mass Ave. There is no flood zone up there. And there is flood zone on 1300's adjacent parcel where the leaching field is. I think the leaching field is actually in the flood zone. So that means if it ever was to fail, Title V and the building code would prohibit you from building that again in that location. So I'm hoping that we'll kind of figure out, separate the issues. Like take the program requirements and put them in one bucket, take the cost and put it in another bucket, and then take the social and economic impacts and put it in a third bucket and have a frank discussion about all of that. And then lastly, Mac corrected me. I was thinking that the biggest challenge, or the answer that we got from your sense of the meeting was that it was all about the money. But Mac said, no, actually the numbers are quite close. There are 6 votes, I think, separated them. But the real amazing number was the amount of people who just didn't care. 175 people voted with their feet and walked out of the room and didn't even vote on the sense of the meeting. And that's dwarfs the people who are passionate one way or the other about it. So I think don't just decide based on money. Pick a site that definitely fits the program well, but also considers the social impacts about the choices that you're going to be making. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No.
All right. I'm gonna move us to, under new business, updates on sites under.
We're gonna do Sarah
Oh,
first.
sorry,
Can do this
Sarah,
one?
yep, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so I will try to be clear and quick. Because I went through a couple of things. I went through the meetings that we had, and I also went through what I found were some of the major points from the fall town meeting. So, all right. There was input around having apparatus located around the town in separate buildings as opposed to housed in the same building. There are several challenges with this proposal. Logistically, firefighters would either have to travel to the equipment at other locations and then travel to the needed location, or we would have to pay additional operational costs to hire more firefighters to man the equipment. Secondly, there are fewer economies of scale. The town would not be able to take advantage of cost savings to build additional locations for separate equipment. Substations cost more over the long term due to the operational costs, and at this time, within the long-term plan analysis, no substation is expected to be needed. Did I miss anything?
No, I think that's right.
All right. So the FSBC also reviewed sites that were available at the time, and once narrowed down, invested the funds into having traffic engineers review response times from the sites that were available. As the data showed, there were give and takes with the response times. Moving the site in one direction improves response times for one area, but worsens it for another area when compared to the current location's response times. I think that the comment was trying, this is my personal opinion, I think that the comment was trying to get at was making the response time equal for all residents. No study has been completed in an attempt to make it equal for all residents. This is typically not how a fire station location is determined, because there would be an assumption that a fire station could be developed on any site in town and that the town would be able to acquire any site. This is not something the FSBC is considering at this time. The traffic studies for 72 Stowe Road and 502 Mass Ave are available on the FSBC website on the right bar under Feasibility and Conceptual Design Phase Reports and within the Traffic Study folder. Chief, I'm going to need your help on this one, so be prepared. The Massachusetts and New Hampshire EMS Air Services, I'm not sure if that's exactly what it's called, already service Boxborough as needed. The fire chief can speak more to this service.
Yes, so there are a few air medical services that are out there. We have Boston Med Flight, we have Worcester Light Flight, and they're part of a consortium that if one's not available, they'll bump down to the next, where we could even get DART, which is out of Dartmouth Hitchcock, to come down and provide a helicopter if we needed it. So air medical is something that we already utilize and something that we do through the different private foundations that are paying. Like, I believe it's a consortium of Boston hospitals that pay for Boston Med Flight for critically ill or severe trauma patients to be flown into level 1 hospitals to receive care. So that's the system that we're using right now. We have landing zones already established throughout the community that we just get on the radio, we tell them our designated landing zone, they go to the coordinates, they punch it in, and they come to us already. So it's already being used within the community.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna keep going. So the $6 million differential estimate for Article 3 was based on total project cost estimates for 72 Stowe Road and 502 Mass Ave. Those are the two conceptual design estimates that we are certain of. The engineers then ranked the sites for site work, and we have ballpark acquisition costs, and we believe that is within the up to $6 million range we're talking about for the other sites. There is a concern that estimates aren't vetted enough. Per industry standards, the FSBC's current estimate level for 502 Mass Ave and 72 Stowe Road is adequate for the concept design phase. Okay, swing space cost estimate concern was brought up again. The meeting on October 16th, 2025, that was last week's, provided additional information around the swing space cost estimate for another option. If you would like to watch that, you can find it on the BXB-TV on a link on the website. Additionally, from that meeting, Mike, I think you were going to make some edits to that.
I did.
Excellent. And we're in the process of then getting it posted online for everyone to view.
It's in the packet.
Oh, excellent. All right. So it is already posted online. See, I wrote this a couple days ago, so give me a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can tell you when you're ready what those changes were since last week. Now or later.
Let's do them later.
Okay. All right. We also heard that several people would like to see 2 locations at the next town meeting. One person specifically mentioned a least expensive option and then the next option. All right. We also, in our last week's meeting, we rediscussed 296 Middle Road and mentioned that the reason it was not originally considered was because of that distance to travel down Middle Road to Route 111 and the speed at which vehicles could travel that would likely adversely affect response times. There was also another comment made about moving too fast, and our site selection process has been ongoing since the committee started in July 2024. The FSBC has spent many, I'm going to say significant hours. I wanted to put a number in there, but I was advised against, even though I'm fairly certain it's been that many hours. Doing our own internal review of the past documentation that was developed over the last 15 years of this process, as well as our consultants' reports. We've been asking questions about this information. We've been speaking with the public to gather input as well. So the FSBC nor the town can anticipate what parcels will be available. Okay, so again, the FSBC can not, nor the town can anticipate what parcels will be available. The FSBC, hold on, I wrote that in here twice because I really wanted to emphasize it. All right. It's like, I don't know, crystal balling, trying to figure something out. All right. Okay, so in my personal experience in construction, to have spent 1 year on this committee and also known that it has taken 15 additional years to get this to the same point we're at right now at site selection, that is not fast. So in my opinion, again, I'm saying that saying that we are moving too fast and spreading that amongst the public would be a disservice to the work that has already been completed. Another thing that was also mentioned was trying to create a warrant article so that there's flexibility up until the day that it is decided on at the town meeting. And I believe we've talked about this, and I think we said this in the last meeting too, but it can't necessarily be done because it has to be printed and we have to get other boards' recommendations in advance of all of that. All right, I'm almost there. 1300 Mass Ave response time was mentioned from a community member as over 7 minutes, and we don't have this verified through a traffic study yet. And again, it depends on where the event is also located. Events requiring assistance near Route 495 would have a faster response times, and those located to the east of the current station would have a longer response time. It was also brought up that, do we have fire hydrants in town? We do not. We have cisterns and we have fire ponds where the water is stored around town, and the firefighters do not use firefighting foam. That has been phased out. Lastly, 72 Stowe Road was part of a settlement agreement. The Affordable Housing Trust created a task force and for 20 years reviewed the site and had a feasibility report conducted. And it was determined that affordable housing could not be constructed on the site and be profitable. They could not get a developer to be interested in the site because the developer wouldn't find it profitable. A town vote is not required to transfer the 72 Stowe Road property to another entity.
All right, thank you. I know you spent a lot of time on that, and I personally really appreciate it, so thank you. It's important to listen to what we're hearing in the community, so. All right, so I'm going to move us, please, Chief.
Real quick about the response times too. I just also want to remind you, when we look at it, yes, it's supposed to be a 4-minute response time, but it's supposed to, it's 4 minutes response time based on 90% of the calls. It recognizes the fact that not every single call is going to have that attainable 4 minutes. So they want you to be able to get 90% of the time to that.
But we all want to be in that.
Oh, I believe it. I wish that we could get there all the time, but I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you. All right. So I'm going to move us to updates on sites under consideration. So why don't we go to the swing space pricing, because that's...
Sure. It's in the packet. Let me see if I can share that. See if I can find it. Okay, I can't find it, and I don't want to waste your time, so I just wanted to say, it is in the packet.
Page 60, Mike.
What page?
60.
60, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
got it.
Okay. Last week I shared with you the first version of this, and it came in at about just shy of $4 million. I went back and adjusted a number of things. One of them was starting from the top. I put in there what this is based on. It's based on a 2-year occupancy if a new firehouse is built at 502 Mass Ave. Moving down to the modular trailers, it was noted last week that I hadn't put in the SCBA space, so that's going in the first modular trailer, and I'm assuming and hoping that that also has enough room for the storage that the fire department needs, because I don't think we can fit another modular trailer in the 12,000 square feet that is available for us to use. And that's about all we can fit there without impinging the operations at the Regency. Moving further down, the next change I made from last week was on the leased parking space. I indicated that it is 12,000 square feet and that it is $15,000 a month for a total of $360,000. That $360,000 hasn't changed from last week. I just wanted to put what the qualifiers were in there. Moving down, I told you that the hotel is going to, may require us, probably will require us to pay for some window soundproofing. They nor we know what the cost of that window soundproofing is. I had estimated $40,000. That's a pure guesstimate, but I reduced that to $20,000. But again, we're waiting on what that will actually cost and how many windows we'll have to soundproof. And that's in addition to the 2 buffer rooms that we have to lease for the 2-year period, so that there's a space between the fire operations and sleeping quarters, which will be alarmed, as well as the apparatus bays and the office space outside, and the residents that will be, renting rooms on a nightly basis at the Regency. Moving down further, the biggest change I made from last week is the electricity cost. What I did is I took the offset from what we would be paying for electricity at the current station, which at that time we won't be paying for, and then also made a seasonal adjustment, which I think is more in line with or an estimate of what we would spend, and I brought that down to $73,600. Those are the only changes. All of those changes will impact the design contingency, escalation, general requirements, bonds and insurance, and profit, which are all percentage-based, bringing the total down to $3,895,000, just above that. So it came down by about $100,000. Yes.
I can fix that for you. Because as you're saying, electricity, it just dawned on me that we haven't accounted for an emergency generator rental that would have to be placed and wired into everything to make sure that in the event the power was lost, that we would have to have an emergency generator separate from the hotel for our power needs and for our equipment.
And do we not have one of those?
It's not in the,
I don't. I have equipment in there, but that's not accounting for a generator. I assume that we'd be able to use the hotel one. I'll look into that. The $15,000 for equipment is some of the other equipment that's going to be needed, like kitchen equipment, cleaning equipment, those sort of things.
The town doesn't currently own an emergency generator?
So we have a permanent one. We have one that's a fixed site
Yeah,
one.
fixed,
So
yeah.
this would be one of those that you see trailered in,
I
that would be
see.
parked, and it would be wired to our bays, our
Yeah.
rooms, and that when something were to happen, it would be an automatic kick over for us.
Okay,
So I'll
thank you.
look into the cost of that for a 2-year rental or
The
purchase
fixed
of that.
generator serves just the current fire station or
No,
also the
serves
police?
department as well.
That's why we can't put it
Yes.
on the trailer.
Exactly.
On the one that you're talking about, what powers it? Is it gas or diesel?
It would be diesel. The generators are generally
So we'd
diesel.
have a temporary diesel tank on site for that generator?
They are built into it, they're attached, so it wouldn't
Oh.
have its own, it
I see.
wouldn't be a tank and
Got
then
it.
plumbed to it, it would, yes.
Thanks.
Great.
so we're back up to around $4 million.
Yeah, and in fact, I got pricing last year for a generator. This wasn't a trailered one, but it was one to electrify one building in addition to police and fire, and the target for that is the library, and that was $89,000. But I'll look at the pricing for a 2-year rental. I'm guessing purchase of a transportable generator probably less than the 2-year lease, but I'll look into that. No, that's good.
Yeah. Well, and that is why you have design contingency, because
Right.
it's not till you actually go to set something up and you're like, oh, what about?
Right.
So,
And as I said last week, I'm sure that holes could be poked in this. This is not what I do for a profession, and this is coming up with best estimates. And certainly I could be off by a couple $100,000 one way or the other. But I think in general, this kind of validates the work that our OPM has done. Even if I'm off $200,000, like I said, the window insulation, that's just pulling a number out, because even the
Right.
people who are requiring us to do this couldn't get a number yet, and we can further refine this.
Right,
Can I ask a question about this?
yeah.
So this would be for 2 years from when we break ground, presumably, right? So,
Well, you have to
2 years
set
from
it up
when?
a few months.
okay, so a few
like-
months in
yeah.
advance. So we end up at town meeting for purchasing the property and getting design money, but by the time we get design funds, and we can't do anything till we have design funds, it's at least next fall. So it's 2 years from next fall, presumably-ish. The owner of the Boxborough Regency also owns Westford Regency, that just shut its doors, laid off its employees, and is building apartments. Are we also guaranteed, and I know there's no way to ask the owner of this if we're guaranteed, but
No.
something to think about. Are we gonna be guaranteed 3 years there? Because, that's the concern I have. It's a private industry, if a private business, I know we're gonna have a lease, but if something comes up between now and a time when we sign a lease, all of a sudden we don't have a swing space. This is just possibilities, and it's in my opinion, these are things we should consider. I just want to be clear, I'm not doing scare tactics.
No,
But they legitimately closed the door of Westward
Yeah.
Regency
And I
yesterday,
think
2 days
I think that's a good point, and Larry brought something up, and he can speak to it. He mentioned at the last meeting, and that was that, it would probably be, if you look at the price of the rooms, even though the prices are heavily discounted at $60 per night per room, it would still be cheaper to bring in mobile living trailers, that's something that can be designed. And that's actually what Chief and I are working on, a design for that from another modular company to put something at the station at the request of the select board. And I believe Larry is right, that we would be able to bring in mobile trailers for living space, but there is not room at the Regency to do that. But if there were parking lot space somewhere else and we can bring in electrical power, I think that's possible, and maybe that would bring this down by a couple $100,000, but you're still well over $3.5 million.
Because instead of renting the rooms, you'd have to get the modulars.
You bring the modulars,
So, right.
which would, if we can find a big enough parking lot and have somebody lease us space, then it is possible to move this whole operation to somewhere else, as was proposed at the old DPW site. But I think this kind of validates the numbers. Wherever you put it, you're at probably 3.5 or 4 million.
Yeah, and like I said, that would just be a consideration.
And it just, for the public, it needs to be a space in town. It
Right.
can't be in Acton, because then you're not responding within the time allotted in Boxborough, so. All right, thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
And let's see, any updates on any of the sites? So is Jeff online?
Jeff is on the line.
I know,
Steve is also on the line.
okay.
And I thought I saw Emily. Is Emily also,
That's the same Emily.
Well,
is that the same Emily? That's the only thing I don't know about.
yeah, Mowbray is,
It just says Emily's
says
iPhone.
Emily.
okay. Well, from Jeff, any updates on the work, getting the work started on the different? Yes, thank you.
The committee voted at the last meeting to $20,000 not to exceed for work to begin some engineering analysis of new site, and that has now been scheduled. I believe the engineer already came out today to mark locations for performing test pits. As you might remember, in prior sites, 72 Stowe Road and 502, we've done more engineering analysis of those sites, and the committee decided that it would be good to bring these new sites up to the same level as best as possible, considering the availability of the owner's permission to do work on their site. So in this case, I believe the town's in the process of trying to get permission to dig these test pits. Additionally, last week, the committee discussed the potential for doing some additional work and requested that we provide a proposal for a engineering evaluation of 1300 Mass Ave, and considering that to bring the price or the cost estimating at least up to the same level as best as possible as prior sites. Also providing geotechnical borings on the new site that's being evaluated, as well as cost estimator for the updating of the cost estimates for these new sites. So all of that is underway, or essentially been scheduled. It's pending the committee's approval of the proposal that was generated and provided, I believe, yesterday. The expectation from the geotechnical engineer is that if we have some favorable results on the marking, the dig safe marking, and they can get out there quickly to do that, we should be able to actually drill the borings in 2 weeks and from now, and the test pits should be able to occur next week. So we're getting favorable news on the scheduling of these activities, which will allow us to get to the pricing a little faster, which is good. But we, tonight we'd appreciate the committee considering that proposal and approving it if possible. That's what we have.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Okay, so this was added to our packets, and our packets went from small packets to large packets quickly over the last day or so. So I am Okay, it's at page 58 in the packet. And you know, as Jeff said, it talks about doing the summary memorandum of 1,300 and the geotech exploration for the additional site on Mass Ave. And so it has the engineer work, the context fee, and so it comes to 43,500.
Do you want me to share that?
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
And I can scroll it down when you're ready.
Yeah. So do folks have questions about it?
If I'm going too fast, let me know.
And I'll remind us that we released the amendment for 87K, then we incurred an amendment for 20,000, and then this would be for 43.5. So those together are still under the 87 we had originally.
63.5.
Right, exactly.
Which leaves us about
53,000.
14.
And I know that because we asked that question
wait,
yesterday.
it leaves us 53,000?
Because the 87 wasn't the only amount we had left. There was still, there was like 30-something left. So,
Really?
yes.
So last week we,
Why don't I let Steve do this? Because he
okay,
he did.
Steve's
Steve-
unmuted so he can speak to it.
Yeah, Steve, want to talk about what's in the budget?
Yes, I can do that. We had through September, and that actually is illustrated in the vendor invoice package. But I'll just go through it verbally. We had $30,315 essentially left in our contingency when we were including the 87,000. We're now voiding that amendment, which is context amendment 8, and we're now adding the amendment 9, which was 20,000, and this new amendment 10 for 43.5. So doing the math on that, we end up with a contingency of 53,815.
Does that make sense?
So we feel comfortable that with this additional work, it'll help us be able to make a reasonable decision on the difference between the properties?
I think it will, and it includes giving us cost estimates, the high-level conceptual estimates. They would be based on the same building design that's estimated at 72, because that was the lower cost estimate for a building, and that conceptual design fits on the other properties we're looking at. And so I think that then gives us kind of the numbers we need to move to town meeting and to make our choice and then move to town meeting. So if there's no other questions, I'd love a motion to approve amendment number 10 in the amount of $43,500.
So moved.
Second.
So Mac moved and Alan seconded. Any other discussion? I'm going to take a roll call vote because Larry's online. So Priya?
Sundaram, aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Mac?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
And Mary, aye. So that's unanimous. Thank you for that. I have to say that there's something in the packet, I'm not quite sure what it is, because I didn't see it till this evening. And so, do you know what this is? It's a pretty long piece. It looks like from 1985.
Yes, so that's the information I discussed at a previous meeting. I had gotten it just the day of the meeting. I don't remember if it was the last meeting or the meeting before. And that was some of the historical data on relative to 1300 Mass Ave. There was some septic information. There was a lot of legal documentation for the easements that cross Burroughs Road over to the current leaching field. So that's what that is. There's probably 30 or so pages of information. And where I talked about it a couple of meetings ago, I just wanted to provide it. I did send it to you all by email just before that meeting, but I wanted to put it in there so that if the public had any interest, it's in there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, and so I think at this time we don't have any other updates on the sites that we're looking at. And so I don't know, I have the matrix on the agenda. We went through it last time. We had some things we thought we might update, but I'm not sure we're ready to today because we don't have any new information. But does anyone else disagree with that or want to discuss anything?
No.
All right, then let's talk about special town meeting. So also at the last meeting, we said we would decide tonight if we think we can make it for the 15th, or whether we should be asking the select board to postpone. If we make it for the 15th, it means we really do need to vote warrant articles tonight. And given that we don't have new information, I don't think we can do that. So I did ask Mike to look at potential dates so we had a discussion in our internal meeting, is even the middle of January too soon? Because we need this information, then we need to, discuss it, and then we need to vote it, set warrant articles, get everybody to vote it. It backs up almost 2 months for the warrant to go out on time. So Mike, what have you come up with for dates?
Sure. I'm sharing my screen right now, and we checked with the Blanchard School, the administration there. We checked with the town moderator and the town clerk to see what was possible. Have not discussed any of this with the select board yet, but wanted to provide at least these draft thoughts. I've got 2 calendars. This first one is based on a February town meeting, and that would be, let me just quickly jump forward. That would be a February 9th special town meeting, and the pathway to get to that, I'll back up to where we currently are. We'd have a draft warrant start a draft warrant in early February.
Is it February or
November.
I'm sorry, November, yes. And the warrant is already open, so the select board opened the warrant already, planning for a mid-December, so we don't need to reopen it. So that warrant is open. And then we're looking to get final language by November 20th, so prior to Thanksgiving, and then give boards and committees an opportunity to start voting on those. So the first major hurdle is November 20th for final language. And what we're wrestling with here is Thanksgiving and then December, January holidays. Moving forward, your recommendations, language, FinCom final vote, December 16th. Again, this is all just very draft. Select board final vote, December 22nd, if they're, gonna meet that week. Again, it's tough. We really lose, even though you got a week of holidays in December, it's really 2 weeks, because you got staff, you got board, you get committee with vacations, and then you've got our professionals with, so if people are on a few days or a week's vacation, you kind of lose 2 weeks when you get to there. And then moving to January, the warrant will go to the printer right in the beginning of January. It'll reach people's mailboxes by January 26th, so that it is 2 weeks prior to the town meeting, which would be, again, draft scheduled for February 9th, so we get it in before school's vacation.
And you're gonna do that all trying to get budget prep, and then
Right.
budget Saturday.
And the
yeah.
reason I'm mixed up, I keep throwing you wrong dates, is because I've got a second calendar with another date just to put out options to this committee as well as to the select board. So I'll move to the next one, and of course, take any questions you have. So this is if we're looking at an early March town meeting, so pushing it back another 3 weeks. And I think that the final date for this would be March 2nd. I'll verify that when I get a couple pages further. Again, the warrant is already opened, so this would push it past Thanksgiving for final language due in December 11th. So it gives us a little more room to get our engineering in and to draft and vote or at least draft the language for the articles. And then get past Christmas and New Year's, and looking for this committee to do final recommendations on January 8th. The following week, FinCom and Select Board, and then the warrant going to the printer on January 23rd to be ready to be mailed by second week of February, and arrive for a town meeting on March 2nd. I know that's a lot to throw at you, but I wanted to give you some options. And what I think, and I believe our professionals agree, that with the engineering we still need and the reports and decisions to be made, we just can't make December. And I think January is extraordinarily difficult, where we're still gonna have stuff coming in. So I think thinking about maybe second week of February or even the very first week of March, at least give us some goals that are achievable. But I throw this up there, I want to take your questions and thoughts and feedback. So that the select board will be discussing this this coming Monday.
Thoughts?
Wow.
Yikes.
It's amazing. I think, until I got involved in something like this, I didn't realize the process this is. And so, yeah.
I think we still have a fair amount of work to do. And
Yeah.
I think March 2nd is going to be even difficult for us to get to, but I think we should do that.
So March 2nd, but then we need an election afterwards, so it would be within 45 days of that.
Right.
Should be 30 days before our regular elections.
Regular town meeting.
And are you going to have, do we need to have an election for a May town meeting? If there's an override, we have to have an election.
Yeah, so but we have to have an election for this town meeting.
Right.
And it has to be
Right.
within the 45 days. That's the problem. So it's not like we can say, well, we have a May election, we'll just add
Right,
everything to that
right.
ballot. We cannot.
But we could plan, it's within 45 days, we could plan to do it at the end of March and keep it, then there's one in March and one in May or June.
And there is an election already in June, so an operational override could go into that election. This one would need a separate special election, as you
Right.
mentioned, within
Right.
45 days from whenever the special town meeting is. And on Monday night, I'm sure that the moderator is going to be tuned into that meeting with the
I
select
believe the
board.
moderator is on this meeting.
And I know, probably, and I know that the town clerk will be monitoring, and I think that discussion is gonna happen around 9 or 9:20, something like that, and the town clerk will be listening, and I will be out of state, but somebody from this committee may wanna, at least zoom in or watch on TV to see how that discussion goes. I know Priya will be there.
Priya's gonna be tuning in.
So, and we know the design bid phase will take a year, right, before the public gets to vote on the actual
Correct.
building of the...
Correct. About 9 months or so, as Steve mentioned, our OPM for the design, and then it's going to, qualify bidders bring the bid, and come back, and it'll be about 11 or 12 months to actually have the bid in hand and bring it back for a town meeting vote for the construction funding.
And the bid has to be in hand to get into the warrant. So it's got that lead time still.
Have you checked the March 2nd date with everybody?
I haven't checked it with everybody. I've checked it with school, town moderator, town clerk. But I was just trying to get something in front of you. I just haven't had time with running around negotiating with property owners and trying to get something in front of you to at least think
So
about
I'm
it.
not sure that March 2nd works for everybody. There might be somebody who's on community vacation who really needs to be at town meeting.
So there's the February one. Oh, Dennis may have some input here. He's got a hand up.
Sure?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Hold on, Dennis. Okay.
Again, this
Go
is all
ahead,
coming
Dennis.
at you fast, and I apologize, but I just want to give you
Okay,
options.
Dennis, you're unmuted.
Yeah, good evening, Dennis Reed, town moderator. I'm on vacation the week of March 2nd.
So there you go. So that's not going to work.
Wait, can I moderate? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry about that, Dennis. I thought we had checked
I
with
love
you.
the backup plan. But hold on, Mary, you're going to be busy at that meeting. so-
Yeah, I am.
I apologize for that, Dennis. I personally talked to the town clerk. I thought you had been checked with. That's my oversight. I apologize.
All right, so is February 9th a reality? Do you
No,
think?
I don't think so.
It feels,
I'd like to-
feels tight. Final language by less than a month. And we're waiting on materials.
Is there other options? Or are those the only dates at Blanchard?
No, I can check if, that was the latest we checked. I can go back and check in, see if Blanchard is available the 9th. Dennis, are you available the next 2 weeks after?
Do not try March 9th, 10th. I'm away, 9th, 10th, 11th.
You are away then, okay.
Yeah, for work.
Maybe the discussions is centered around when do we think we can be ready? And then I
Yeah.
can come back
Yeah.
with some, probable dates. I don't know if we want to go as far as the 16th.
So if we think about the work that we're asking to have done, the cost estimates we don't need those to get in the warrant. Those need to, when I'm talking about the conceptual build estimates, which is part of what we've just agreed we're gonna get, but we don't need that for the warrant. We need that to present and say, here's the ballpark of what we think it's gonna do. So we don't need that, but we need the engineering work to decide on the sites.
Right.
And we need the negotiations to decide on the sites. So I think, Mike, I don't know if you have a sense of negotiation timing, and Jeff, if you have a sense of engineering work and when we would have that to then be using it.
I would suspect that the engineering will probably be the long pole in the tent.
Yeah.
I think because the engineering, to some degree, is going to affect the negotiating, but that can be close. I think the engineering is
Okay.
what we need to count on.
Jeff, do you have a sense of that? Maybe you can
Yes, I'm
stop.
sorry, I can't unmute myself. So the engineering that we are getting now, we are hoping with good luck that we will have some data by the November 7th, which is approximately 2 weeks from now. If the borings have to ship to the following week, we'd have information back by the 14th. All of that would then go to the cost estimator, which would need a couple weeks to put things together. So with the Thanksgiving holiday thrown into the mix, I think, I don't want to promise something the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I'm assuming it would probably be the 5th of December, Friday, or maybe the 4th of December, the Thursday.
But does that's to get costs as well, right? But we
Yes,
could
that
get
would
the
have all
engineering.
Yeah, we could report out the engineering before that, certainly. And then the cost would come in, I think, by the first week of December.
Right. So, Mary, if not the week of March 2nd, what about and school vacation is on February 16th, what about February 23rd? So that's a week earlier than the March 2nd date. It
Right.
sounds to me like we'll have what we
Yeah.
need to be able to make the deadlines, right? If you just push the deadlines that you have, Mike, back 1 week, effectively.
Can you say that again?
If you push the deadlines back for the March meeting,
Yep.
right? If we push that meeting to the March 23rd,
But that
I'm
means,
sorry.
that means that we'd have to have the final language by December 4th, and if he's not getting us the estimates back,
but we don't need the estimates for the final language
but
for
don't
negotiation.
we need that for site selection?
Yes.
Okay,
Wait,
so what,
final language would be December 4th.
Yeah, and he's saying we won't have the cost estimates until
But we don't
around then.
need the cost estimate
But
for the final language. That's,
But we need don't we need the cost estimate to put it into the matrix to help us decide the site?
well, if
We
we
haven't
have,
decided
if we
on
have
that.
some idea on the
Yeah.
cost of the site,
right.
But if the site work costs so much more
are
on
we gonna
one
have that kind of
Right.
versus
information
another,
in that cost,
Right,
that
based
could
on,
sway.
yeah.
okay.
I see
so,
what you're saying, yeah.
Um,
So we do want that, so
so then
Can I
we
ask
go,
what date you were proposing, or are you looking at something
we're, now
different?
we're moving on from that date.
We're moving on,
Okay.
right. So
So
Jeff,
stand by.
tell us again, cost estimates, you think by December 4th?
Yes, I'm making a guess, but I think it's fair to say that with the Thanksgiving break, we should be able to have it by the 4th.
So that would be with cost estimates. Okay, so what about if we go a week after and we go to the 9th? What's going on
But
there?
Priya said she can't do the 9th.
Okay. All right, the finance person in me is just going to ching, to
Can I
ching
just
for
add
every
some
day that we delay.
information here?
Larry,
Even- Yeah, even though we won't have the final cost, we will have the engineering report. And the engineering report is going to tell us if there's extraordinary issues, and that will mean it's going to have an impact on the cost. It's going to be comparative. It's not that we won't have the final cost estimate, but we will have information that will give us some sense of magnitude in a comparative sense. So it's not that we're going to have nothing.
I don't disagree with that, but what if it comes out that they're too
Fairly
close, or,
close,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, but we're only talking about a small percentage of the total cost of the project. And it's just a relative variable.
So final language would be December 4th, but the recs aren't until January 1st, or maybe the 2nd, goes to the printer a week before 7/3/4, the 16th. So we could prepare several articles and then don't put them all in.
Choose the one that's the one we need.
Right. So we can buy a little time that way if we need it. Well, I think Larry's right. We'll have a sense.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that, that we will have a sense. I'm just saying, are we
Right.
willing to make a decision on
It's-
that from a sense and not
Right.
from a cost estimate,
Cost
cost
estimate.
estimate?
But we will have the cost estimate by the time we're doing recommendations. But we're also gonna
Yes.
have to talk about our calendar, because this is gonna mess up our calendar, but the holidays mess it up anyway, so.
And now, keep in mind, we blocked off 2 days for town meeting, which we're not gonna have in December. So there's dates in December, so there's, you know,
Right,
everything's a
right.
little screwed up anyway. but
And
we
the,
have
and the
dates.
2 dates in December was really just the first one and a backup, because, you know, it's looking like 4 articles total.
Right.
So I think this is a one-nighter.
All right, so this is, you're talking about if we back this up a week, right, to the 23rd? Is that what you guys are talking about right now? Because I'm
February
I lost
23rd.
track. Okay.
Yeah.
February
All right,
23rd,
so
yeah.
I'm looking at my calendar, so that would be February 23rd. So forget March
Is
2nd. we
Is
know
there
that.
any concern with people showing up to town meeting if they're flying out of state for the February vacation and that's the first Monday back? I don't know if that's a concern, but I just,
Oh, that's the
Does
vacation.
it have
if
to be on
people-
Monday?
Does it have to be Monday?
not in my mind.
Right.
So the 24th, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I don't know.
Later in the week, give people a time to recover.
So there's other concerns too. There's budget concerns, there's, I don't have in front of me,
What do you mean budget concerns?
well, because we're preparing the budget and getting ready for town
Okay,
meeting.
so you,
So,
right.
so I'm trying to think about, Tuesday is we have a FinCom meeting every Tuesday from January until usually the end of March. But there's also the school voting on the budget, and I don't have that in front of me because I didn't think we were gonna be going that far out, otherwise I would have that. I mean,
Can we look
whatever,
that up?
we don't even have to worry about that. We'll make it work, somebody will figure it out.
I can make March 9th work. I just figured out that I could leave on March 10th early morning.
6 o'clock, you're gonna stay up till 10 and,
So is March 9th better, because that gives us, then we go a week out versus?
Yes.
yes.
Are you sure,
Dennis,
Priya?
does that work for you, Dennis?
Hold on,
Maria's gonna unmute
I
you.
did unmute him.
Yeah, that week of February, last week is fine, thank you.
No, March 9th, Dennis.
Oh, March 9th, okay, moving out there, yeah, that's fine, I'm back. I'm just away that full week, the 2nd.
I'll check with the school and with the town clerk.
Okay.
Could you go through those dates, the stop dates, if it's March 9th?
Sure. If it's March 9th, back it up 2 weeks, and that's when they need to be received at people's homes. So that now you're at February 23rd, I believe, and then the printer needs it for 3 weeks. So that's January 2nd. I'm sorry, February 2nd.
Okay.
And then we needed an administration for a week, which turns out to be that week between Christmas and New Year's.
No.
Can I, if you
No,
just take
that'd
the
be in
March
January,
2nd,
right?
the final would be December 18th. The Rex would be January 15th.
Yeah.
The printer would be January 30th. And the mail would be February 19th.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just
So
added
Rex and
it.
final vote would be on the 18th, January 18th,
Rex, January 15th.
15th. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
18th is a Sunday.
January, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can.
Yep.
Okay. And then when does it need to be at the printer? Mary, I'm sorry, I'm trying
No,
to write.
that's all right. Printer, the 30th of January.
Okay, so then FinCom could take it up at their meeting on the 20th, if we have final recommendations at our meeting on the 15th. Okay.
Yeah.
Mary, could you go
Okay.
through the 12/18 is what?
Okay, for a March 9th, the final language would be December 18th. The Rex would be January 15th. It goes to the printer by January 30th. It's in the mail by February 19th. And that's a March 9
Great,
town meeting.
thank you.
So if the Blanchard's available, we're gonna, as a,
That
I have
feels,
to- I just have to also make sure the town clerk's available.
and the select board needs to be available. I'm gonna presume they wanna be at this.
okay, do we wanna come up with a second date, just in case?
Yes.
So do we wanna go, God, I hate to go further out in March,
No, I mean, it was sounding like we were potentially making the
23rd.
23rd.
You're right, 23rd, 24th, 25th,
I would
25th.
say, yeah, either Tuesday, which I kind of hate doing because people get a little bit discombobulated because town meeting always starts on Monday. But I would say Tuesday because I remember even when my kids were in school,
Yeah,
that
This time
first
it was
day
a
back,
Tuesday.
there was a lot of kids not there.
exactly.
Right.
This past one was a Tuesday, Maria.
I know, and it got a
So,
little, there was a
yeah.
few people who were discombobulated. I wasn't one of them, but there was a few people who were like, why are we doing this on a Tuesday? All right, so the 24th or 25th. And we don't really need to know all the backup on that, but.
Yeah.
Could we get that in a list form, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was
It's
hard to
really
follow with
easy.
the, yeah.
Yeah.
So just a list form for 3/9, or if that doesn't happen, the 24th or 25th.
Okay.
Right, so no town meeting in December.
No town
We're gonna
meeting in
request that at the
December,
select
spread
board.
the word, tell your friends.
So we were the only business?
We were the only business. I mean, there might have been something small, but it was mostly a fire station.
All right. So that means I don't think we're going to discuss warrant articles tonight, which is great. So public outreach update.
So we haven't met since Village Day.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I was there for a good part of the day. You were there, we were all kind of there, different shifts.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. We had a pretty good group of people come through. We had kids that loved the toys.
Yep.
We had kids that picked up the UTV toy, and then I would say, look over there, and they get all excited because the firemen had the same thing. And thank you to the fire department for setting up our tent and getting our tables, and putting our cones out and doing everything else. It was greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I thought
Did you
it
guys
was a great
take
day.
pictures?
Maybe
With
not.
any?
Not especially.
You had a firefighter that took pictures.
If we had to be honest,
Yeah.
we would not take me,
Somebody
but somebody took pictures.
I think I have a file folder of pictures I can share.
Yeah, and
we
there was
should
pictures
probably
on Facebook from the town.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should probably
So.
post these.
Yeah.
It was a great event. I saw people walking all over.
Yeah.
Like, it really met its purpose. I saw a lot of people I did not know.
Yeah.
So it
We had a few
reached
people sign
different
up
crowd.
for
A
the
few
email.
people signed up for email pushes. Yeah, it was
I thought it
good.
was a good event. So we haven't met. I'm not really sure
Yeah.
what outreach we're doing now.
So
So we're meeting
I think,
tomorrow,
so,
presumably.
as we said, what we're gonna have to do is outreach about town meeting.
Yep.
And I think we want to have as good information as we can. So it's going to be dependent on these dates, but I think we're looking at January, February
For like
forums.
Forums,
Yeah.
listening sessions, what do we want to call them, whatever.
Yeah.
Forums,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So either way, we're close enough that maybe we'll try to set some dates and find out if town hall's available for January and February.
Yeah,
Because whether it's March 9th or,
right.
we'll keep away from anything from the town, school vacation and after, right? We'll do it before in February. Okay, January, February.
We
Right.
should have something as soon as we make a decision on the site, right? Something
Right.
soon after that.
Yeah, but we don't know when that's gonna be, right?
No.
Well, certainly by either December 18th or a little earlier if it's the 24th, 25th.
So the thing is, we're not gonna be, I don't think we do, we're not gonna, we have a hard time getting people to come to the forums.
Do you want me to work with Alec and try to set something up like we did the town meeting
Pre-town.
preview, where, he had the 5 kiosks for the MBTA community, 5 kiosks for
I
the
mean, I
fire
think we should do
station?
that as we get closer, that should be one of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, and that was just a couple of weeks
Yeah.
before town meeting, and that seemed to be very well received, and people liked that different format, that walk in and
And
ask
we
their
had new
questions
people that
and
came.
leave.
So I think that would be
Yeah.
great for one of the forum
I'll
listening
work
sessions.
with Alec on that.
But if we let's say we vote a final property on December 18th, we really cannot have any listening sessions till after the new year.
Exactly.
I mean, there's just-
Nobody,
Yeah,
We
people
have
have
hard
other
enough time getting
priorities.
people to come, let alone during the holidays,
Exactly.
right? So,
Winterfest is in January.
Winterfest
Right.
is in January. I don't go to Winterfest because I don't like the cold. So, I'm happy to help you guys.
Priya
like,
and
plan
Sarah
it.
were there. I
Yeah.
went for a little while last year. It was
we
a
were there.
lovely day.
The kids loved it.
Yeah.
They helped put out the fire at the fire pit.
So there would be Winterfest, but that's like, with that listening sessions, I really like the idea of doing
Yeah,
another.
but I think we need to do a couple in the room and online. Okay, here's the sites.
So
Here's what we did.
tell us what that means. In the room, hybrid, obviously.
Hybrid, right.
So that would be 2. How many? So we can,
Just probably 2.
2 hybrid.
Two hybrid, a morning and an evening or something like that.
Okay.
Because, we do get the same people. I feel like when we do 4, what we get is 2 and 2, and if we can do fewer, we might get 4 people to all go to the same
Okay,
one.
and do we want to do those morning and evening on the same day? or separate the days? I don't mean to be difficult,
No,
it's just
that's all right.
easier, like.
It's questions. I think,
I don't think it matters, though,
I don't
Mary.
think it matters.
I
So
don't think it matters.
we can see the space availability.
Okay, and BXB-TV, because if it's a hybrid.
Right.
I mean, we can do it, it's not easy to do the meetings with us doing it with the owl and stuff.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't work as well.
If it doesn't matter, it might be easier to leave the room set up if you're doing it here.
Yeah.
You set the room up with whatever displays and easels you want and have it set up for the evening as well.
What about having a session at the site that we choose? Invite in
It's gonna be
January.
cold.
In the winter.
I mean, I.
Outside.
No?
Yeah.
if we can get on there, I think if people would like to see where
That's
physically
Maybe we can
where.
offer tours. I don't
A
know that
tour,
we can
yeah.
do like a listening. I think that's a
Yeah.
great idea to
I
offer
just
like a
mean
tour.
having like we did at 72 Stowe
Yeah.
Road a couple times, and people, we had quite a few people come to that, there to the site.
Yeah.
Like site walk. We
Yeah.
could do
Site
that.
walk, we'll do
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
Matt can be in charge of that. But we'll plan it. I'm happy to plan, I just don't like being out in the cold, so.
Okay.
All right, a site walk when we decide that. Winterfest, 2 hybrid meetings.
And a
between-
partridge in a.
Yeah, right, exactly. Second week of January through the first week of February, we'll look at that. Anything after that gets a little sketchy with school vacation,
Right.
right? Okay.
And
so-
something like a fair, right? Like what?
TV, yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
the
gonna be an
pre-town
additional
meeting, yeah.
pre-town fair. Can you, you gonna talk to Alec about that?
Yes,
All
I'll
right,
touch
we'll
base
work
with
on some
them.
potential dates. Would
Yeah.
that be all right? So tomorrow, with
Yeah.
our meeting, we can come up
And I
with a
think,
calendar?
we got several comments back from people who attended that at the library, that they felt like 2 weeks prior to town meeting was great, because they
Yeah.
had questions, after they get the warrant. Now they get some questions, bring it in.
Right.
So I'll touch base with Alec tomorrow, and then maybe Chief can touch base with him next week. I'll be away at the ICMA training convention next week, but I'll start that coordination tomorrow.
So just keep in mind, February 16th is the start of vacation week. So it needs to be the week before.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
For the fair.
when the Public Outreach Committee meets, it was really helpful last time when you thought of what are the 5 tables and assign them, and so,
We've got some tables.
it can be
And have a
similar to
sign
what
for
we've done,
Yeah.
but,
I mean, I think, similar to what we did for Village Day.
yeah.
And then, Mike, do we anticipate anything else being on the agenda for town meeting?
The only things we have on there right now is kind of 3 slots saved for whatever the articles are here.
Yeah.
And then 1 to vote $7,000 to pay for the Regency special town meeting we already had.
Okay, all right.
That's
so-
all I have at this point.
Okay,
Why don't we think we probably could do some like just social media posts in between in November, December, just to keep people updated on
And we
what
do
we're
need
working
to
on.
get the word out, no December 15th.
Yeah.
we can do that, and then if, actually, so what we generally do is we just share the town post. So for Rajon's, once the select board votes to cancel it.
Right.
Because we can't get ahead of the select board.
Right.
If Rajon could send out a town post on social media, and then we can all share it. Because we don't actually have our own,
Right.
we don't have a social media site, but we can get other social medias to people to share.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good, thank you. All right, so that takes us to minutes. I'm gonna hope that the September 11th minutes look good, but any comments on the September 11 minutes?
Oh,
Well,
There's
we
green.
Still
missed,
has green.
we missed 2 things.
Okay,
The very first thing where it says people are present,
yes,
Scott Turner wasn't in the room. He was remote.
okay, so Scott Turner, it should say remote, and Fuss
And
O'Neill.
then the other thing that I thought we were going to change, but it didn't get changed, the next page, the top paragraph, the very last sentence is irrelevant. Mr. Shaw noted that the number may be 25 instead of 19. Well, 19 doesn't occur anywhere else in the paragraph
Right,
above,
'cause
because
we
we got rid of
fixed
it already.
Yeah, okay, so we strike that last
Sentence.
sentence.
That's it for that one.
Can I, anyone else? Can I have a motion to approve the September 11th minutes as amended?
Would you like to
So
make that?
moved.
Second.
Okay, so Alan moved, Maria seconded. I'm going to take a roll call vote. Priya?
Sundaram, aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Mac?
I
Larry?
Aye.
And Brolin, aye. Thank you. Yay. Okay, then we're gonna move to the October 9th minutes.
There's one stupid thing and then one relevant thing.
Okay, let me just,
Stupid.
Well, it's kind of stupid to find it, but it makes a difference.
You have regarding?
okay, go ahead.
Glad you found it.
The big paragraph under item 2 where it says Chair Brolin, the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line down. Meeting article at town meeting will help the committee determine if voters are willing.
Determine.
It shouldn't be determined
It should be determined.
because that's the past tense.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Maybe we were wishing it was past
Maybe.
tense at that point.
determine, okay,
The thing that does matter, on page 5, the paragraph that's about a third of the way down that says Chief Kivlin stated, it said, the second line of that says, the proposed on a separate parcel. I think that's supposed to say the septic system on a separate parcel. It's not a proposed septic system, it actually exists.
yeah,
But that whole thought is not quite right.
okay. So
Maybe it
it's
should say the existing septic system, or
Yeah.
some such.
the existing septic system on a separate parcel.
And I think that's all I had.
Okay.
And then that's, I'm sorry, I can't believe you missed it. In the same paragraph,
I'll give you something to do.
there's a word called regearing. I think it's supposed to be regarding. On line 3 on page
Okay.
5 there, in that same paragraph.
Line 3, page 5.
All right,
Same
any
paragraph.
other
That's what
comments
you're
there?
saying, somewhere in there.
I'm disappointed in you, Alan.
I just wanted to see if you're paying any attention.
Yeah, it was a test. Okay, with that, I would take a motion to approve the October 9th minutes as amended.
So moved.
Second.
So Mac moved, Alan seconded, and roll call vote, Priya,
Sundaram, aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Maria,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Mac,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Mary, Brolin, aye. All right, and then we come to the October 14th minutes.
I found one thing.
Okay,
The meeting didn't start at 7 o'clock. It started at 6:21 according to item 1.
oh yeah, and that's my mistake, I think, I put this on a header and I think I just kept the 7. So it was posted for 6:15.
Yeah.
So we usually put 6:15 up there, but then we called to order at 6:21.
Right.
Okay. Any other?
We were posted for 6:15.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
I thought we were posted at 6:30.
No, but then she changed it to 6:15. She
we
thought we
made it
needed more
6:15,
time.
but
Okay.
most people came in because you
It's
guys were at other
6:30,
boards.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Got it,
so,
got it, yeah.
Okay, I'll take a motion to approve as amended.
So moved.
Second.
So Alan moved, Maria seconded, and Priya.
Sundaram, aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Maria,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Mac,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Mary, aye. Thank you for all those minutes. And that's going to move us to the budget review and invoice approval. So Steve, if you want to take us through that.
Yes, I can, Mary. So the invoice package, which is in your packet, for the invoices for the month of September include Vertex, Context, Kristen Patnod, and Annette Lockery.
Does anybody know what
And
page
I'll go
that
through
is?
these. So the Vertex invoice number 13 is in the amount of $2,527. The Context invoice number 12 is in the amount of $17,555. We have an invoice from Kristen Patnod for meeting minutes that incorporate one meeting at the end of August and 2 in September for a total of $425.91. And then there's a final invoice is from Annette M. Lockery for banner materials and flags in the amount of $340. That all those invoices total for the month $20,847.91.
Any questions?
Why is it called vertising, 340?
I'm sorry?
What's that?
It's called vertising, the description, I'm just.
Advertising?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what's the question? Is there a typo somewhere?
What are you looking at?
On the front sheet, it's advertising.
Yeah, okay.
That maybe there's a typo somewhere and it
Typo,
says
yeah,
vertising instead of advertising.
Okay, yeah, the summary has it as advertising. Maybe it's somewhere further on, maybe the budget review. Hold on.
See here.
Would you like a motion?
Sure.
I would move that we approve the invoice of $20,847.91.
Is there a second?
A second. Sorry.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Priya?
Sundaram, aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Mac?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
And Mary? Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And then we reviewed the budget earlier with the change in the amendment. Does anyone have any questions there?
And all those, Mary, those will all show on the October
Yeah.
CIP.
Right, so this shows our balance of the 30,315, but in October now, we'll see the released 87, the newly acquired 63, so, okay, good.
Correct, yep.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, so now we need to get back to the calendar, because we need to talk about meeting dates for November and December, because we meet the second and fourth weeks, and the fourth weeks are gonna get into the problem with holidays. So I'm gonna try to do this in light of what we were saying. So if we go March, let's see, if we go February 24th, that's 2 weeks away from there, we would need final language by 27, 30 days of September, by December 4th. So if we do the February 24th date, we're looking at final language around December 4th. If we go March 9th, we're looking at it by December 8th. So with that in mind, November meeting dates would have been the 13th and the 27th, which is Thanksgiving. I'm not coming then. I'm dedicated to this, but I'm not coming then. So do we want to meet, we could do 6 and 20, which would have us 2 weeks from tonight and then 2 more weeks.
Yep.
We could go 13 and 20. So we have more time to get information back.
So we won't have any information on the 6th, right?
There's a chance, but it's not a high chance.
13 and 20 sounds good. Give us more time.
We may have to, yeah, the 6th, both of these conference rooms are busy also.
Presenting on the 6th for that.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember what that was.
Wait,
Okay.
the 6th, both of these rooms are busy. We were gonna have a regular meeting on the 6th, weren't we?
No.
No, normally
That's the
we're
first
Or the
Thursday.
13th, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
And
So
the 6th chief is also not available that night. He's presenting at Civic Academy.
So,
I think 13 and 20.
I like 13 and 20 also.
okay, good, that works. Can you see if we can get the space for the 20th? And then, so then we would move for December, we could meet the 4th, 11th, 18th.
Can we do 11th and the 18th?
11 and 18?
4th is our my anniversary.
Wait, I'm sorry. What date?
11, 12, 11.
I can't do the 18th. I have a work commitment.
Okay.
Or else you guys go with.
Well,
18th is when the final language will be due.
18th final language is due on one of the dates. The other one, it's actually the 4th.
If you guys want to meet the 4th, I won't be available.
Okay.
So the 4th and the 11th? Is that enough?
Let me go back to my notes, because
So-
Jeff was saying the cost by maybe
The 4th.
the 4th. So, okay,
Yeah.
so,
I think, Mary, I think we could have, I'm pretty certain we could have the cost presented for the 4th, the meeting
Okay.
on the 4th, if you wanted to have it on the 4th.
okay. So the 4th and the 11th, can people do that?
I can.
Okay,
I have to check on room availability.
okay.
On the 4th, this room looks like it's reserved, but I'll see what's available. And then also on November 20th, I don't know who has it reserved, but somebody's got this reserved, actually both rooms reserved, so let me look into that a little bit.
Okay.
If that's not possible, would you be open to a remote meeting?
Yes.
Okay, I'll see if we can get a room, including the library.
Yep.
If
I was
we
gonna
can't
say,
get one of these.
I think if we're getting the information on the engineering stuff, I prefer to do it in person. I just feel like, it's a better
important.
discussion, it's important,
Yeah,
so that's my preference, so even if it's at the library.
yep, I think that's fine.
If we had a
We
conference room
could
in
do it
our,
in the
I
base
was
for
gonna
fire
say, where could we
station.
ever get a larger room with a, for a place to meet? That's-
I was gonna say, if we have a conference room in our new fire station, we could meet there.
You're saying the same thing.
Why don't we meet in the conference room in the old fire station?
Why don't we meet in the old fire station base, is it cold
Yeah,
in
that
there?
would be good. We could
Bring an
pan
extra,
around the
bring a
room.
blanket, we'll be fine. Just pull the trucks out.
So what did we
Patio
settle
meters.
on, Mary?
So right now, we have November 13th and 20th, December 4th and 11th. Mike's gonna check for space. So Mike, when you know, will you email us? But everyone should hold these
I will.
Yep.
at this
Yeah,
time.
4th I won't be. That'll be the only day.
Yeah, you're right, you're not available.
Okay.
We gotta keep our marriages intact despite all this work, right?
Yeah, I know.
All right, thank you for that. Any other updates people want to share?
I just wanted to quickly, this Sunday from 10 to noon, we're doing the truck or treat at the fire station, and I wasn't sure if anyone wanted to put the tent up and be around.
I mean, I could be there, I just don't, it would just be
I'm doing traffic.
normal handout
Saw that,
stuff,
actually, Alan. Thank you.
right?
Yeah, I don't know that you need to.
We're gonna open up, we're gonna have,
I think-
we're gonna do the normal thing for the children coming in, we're gonna, trick or
Yeah.
treating, and then, we're also just gonna make it available that if anyone's interested and wants to walk through, they can take a
Yeah.
quick tour, so. we're
Yeah,
gonna
I
have
think
that.
that's enough. We've done a lot. Personally, I'm tired and I'm away this weekend. But we're gonna need our energy when we have the new information to share, and I think we save it for then.
Yeah, I've got a
We've done a
wedding on
lot.
Saturday, I'm not gonna wanna be at
Well,
fire
it's on
station.
Sunday. then.
I know, I'm not gonna wanna be at fire station at 10 a.m. on Sunday, but thanks for the offer.
But you
We'll
guys
send
have
you some
a
candy.
table up with stuff, right? There, I thought
That's the
that,
plan, usually we do,
Yeah,
yeah,
usually
usually
I
we'll
have
have
like a-
stuff out and,
I was
so I
thinking,
just didn't
We
know,
could
like,
do our
if there's handouts or
timeline.
anything
That-
you wanna
yeah.
leave for, if you wanna come, that's great, everyone's welcome, but if there's handouts that you wanna include on our table, then just
That's
let me
what I was
know
thinking.
and
How about the
make sure
handouts
that
we
we
use for
get-
Village
The
Center?
I think we
The
have,
next- yes,
Mike, I
that's
think
exactly
they're in the basement. I put them with, I think, Ian and I were loading stuff up from the Village Day.
That stuff is probably down in Alex's office.
Yes.
That's where I pulled these boards from
Yes, yes,
yesterday.
exactly. It was all with these. So there's the colorful timeline and
Familiar, all the stuff I made copies of last week.
exactly, the
Yes.
two things, yeah, those are great.
Okay.
And I have the tax impact, somehow I ended up with the stack of that, but I can run it by the firehouse.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Also, speaking of those materials, there's a lot of stuff that's on the display boards. Other than the stuff I've got displayed here right now, Alec is taking that stuff that's clipped onto boards. He's got a file full of it so we can pull back and he's got boards we can use again. In other
Okay.
words, because it's getting hard to store all these separate
Right.
boards, but that stuff is all filed in his office, other than what you see here, and the 2 old conceptual maps that I have in my office.
Excellent, okay. So I have to do that tomorrow before I leave town. Friday, tax to firehouse. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move us to public input at the end of the meeting. So does anyone in the room or online have public input that they want to share at this time? Okay.
There's no hands up.
Seeing no one, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Maria moved, Alan seconded, roll call vote. Priya?
Sundaram, aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Mac?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
And Mary, aye. Thank you, everyone.